Hammers up, everyone. Towelliee here. Let's talk Mythic Dungeon Invitational #MDI. This is, once again, if you guys have been living under a rock for the past month or two, this is the Mythic Plus Dungeon competition between 4 regions. I think, what is it, like China, APAC, Asia Pacific, that's the same thing, NA, and EU. Now, this is great. This is something that I think I've been waiting for a while. At the beginning of the expansion, I even said, hey, this Mythic Plus stuff, this can become something. This can be something where it can be an esport with competitions, and lo and behold, like a year later, it happens, it gets announced. They had a Proving Grounds stage where, you know, basically the best 5-man Mythic Plus teams in the world for every region tried to, you know, whoever got like the highest plus dungeon with the best timers got to advance. They picked basically 8 teams from each region. Right now we're actually watching the finals of today's Europe MDI, which was Raider IO versus Big Pull. As you can see, Big Pull already has 3 deaths. Now, I'm going to go through a bit of like the good and the bad of this. The good. Blizzard made the right move. PvE. World of Warcraft is a very PvE dominant game. As you can look at the numbers on Twitch and on YouTube, whatever you want. Compare this competition for the Mythic Dungeon Invitational to, let's say, the last, you know, the last 5 or 6 PvP competitions on Twitch and YouTube or Facebook, wherever they stream it. This Mythic Dungeon Invitational has decimated the PvP competitions in terms of unique visitors and viewership. I'm not sure what this was up to today. I think the Europe MDI was up to about 35,000+, maybe a little higher toward the end here, where I think in this entire year, 2017, the max we saw in any PvP tournament was maybe like 25,000, which is still good, but it just goes to show that Blizzard is trying to feel out this Mythic Dungeon Invitational PvE esport and seeing how it pans out. And so far, there's definitely been a lot of like fuck ups and a lot of great shit. There's been some great competitions. We can go through the list. I mean, I remember in the Chinese stage, there was the Prop Paladin team from the first round. Forgot their name. I think they were called Last Resort, if I'm not mistaken. After the dungeon was over, they were getting ready for their second of a possible, you know, 3 matches. First of all, it's best. Everyone is best to, you know, best out of 3. So, you know, whichever team gets 2 wins, they move on. And I think what happened was the Chinese team had a player, and I believe the way it works is the GM, after every match is over, he kind of locks you in and says, okay, you guys are locked in, you can't change your class, you can't change your spec, you have to go with this. And I think what happened was one of the Chinese players was like, well, fuck it, I need to switch right now, I don't want to play this class. Blizzard said no, they quit. So they were disqualified. And there's been a few disqualifications, a lot of drama in some stages. We had the issue with Quinn69, Quinn Rex, Quinn Rat, if you know who he is on Twitch, where, you know, for about a week before the competition started, some other team from APAC stole his username and all the other usernames from his team. And then in retaliation, actually no, I believe the story was that someone from Quinn's team stole the name of another team's name, you know, whatever, I guess, like rival 5-man team of theirs. Someone from Quinn's team, I believe it was their healer, Ka, took the name of someone on another team, and then they retaliated by taking all of Quinn's names and all their team names. Now, there's rules where Blizzard is supposed to be monitoring this shit before the competition starts. It's supposed to make sure that you have your own names, that, you know, Quinn has his name, which is, I think, was Quinn Sane or whatnot, making sure that they're all, you know, ready to go. And since Quinn's name was taken, Quinn in what I would call poor fashion, decides to name his character Quinn Sex. Now, in the rules, it says you cannot name your character after any sexual orientation. So, literally, right before the match started, the GM intervened, told him, hey, you can't play with that name, you gotta change your name. And what happens is, when you change your name or you have to redo your character or whatever, it resets all your macros and all your, you know, whatever add-ons you might have been using. I know for Quinn's team, they were using, you know, like macros to mark certain things, call-outs, weak auras probably, you know, for the entire dungeon, and they had to, like, reset that. So they ended up losing, and then this whole big drama started. And to me, you know, I know I'm kind of going side story here, but to me that was like some sort of like childish, like high school 14-year-old bullshit. You know, you took my name and I'm taking yours. You know, so I think all parties were wrong in this. You know, obviously having sex in your name was not an ideal thing to do. But at the same time, I think Blizzard failed miserably in monitoring the teams and the naming and what was going on. I believe Quinn's team put in a ticket like 10 days before the competition saying, hey, our names are taken, can you do something about this? And in the rules, the GMs do say that they will be taking care of the naming and helping out, you know, with getting everyone situated, and they didn't do that. But there was that drama. Let's see. In today's competition on EU, there was a player on Mob Souls who got stuck in a cage. A tank got stuck in a cage. And basically, they had to kill themselves, wipe on purpose, and then continue the dungeon. And in the rules for Blizzard, it says that, you know, no matter if it's a disconnect, a bug, or some sort of, you know, issue, the match must go on. And at the end of the match, Blizzard makes a decision. I don't agree with that. I think it should be plain and simple. Hey, if there's a bug, just redo it. Start all over from that point on. You know, just do it again. People might disagree with me, but I think that's what should have happened in that situation. Not wait till, you know, they're done with the dungeon, it's finished, and then Blizzard goes, all right, well, let's redo the dungeon again. So they just spent like, you know, 25 minutes, 30 minutes completing the dungeon, and then bam, they have to redo the entire goddamn thing. But yeah, there's and obviously with any new esport or new competition that hasn't been done before, there's going to be, you know, trial and error. There's going to be some really harsh times. And I think Blizzard's going to learn a lot from this competition and improve upon it in the future. The broadcasters were amazing. Sloopbag fucking killed it. Trekkie was great. Automatic Jack was amazing. Rich talks a lot. Rich talks a lot. It's like a meme in my channel now. They like, Towelliee, you're talking too much. Stop riching me. I'm like, whatever, man. You know, but I mean, he's a great caster who has a great voice. Dresses very dapper, I might say. But yeah, Sloopbag definitely killed it. The guy has so much knowledge. He really prepared himself to broadcast his competition, and I'm pretty sure, like 100%, we're going to see him in every future MDI from here on out. Obviously, these players are playing for $100,000, which is incredible. You know, that's whatever, 20 grand per person. I'm not even going to start talking about taxes and shit. But I really want to know what you guys think about this MDI. Like, did you enjoy watching it? And what do you guys think about the future of PvP in esports? Like, with Blizzard seeing the success of this tournament, the hype, the amount of viewers that came out to see it on YouTube and on Twitch and whatever other platform they were streaming this on, it was pretty amazing just to see the turnout. You know, I kind of predicted as much. And I think over the years, PvP has just become such a hard esport to follow. You know, when you watch it and you see the broadcasters just trying to keep up with all the abilities going down and the timings and everything, you know, it's gotten stale over the years. And hell, that might happen to the Mythic Dungeon Invitational as well. We might see, you know, okay, well, all right, we're playing this dungeon. We already know the best comp for this dungeon. It's going to be, you know, Double Arms Warrior, Sub Rogue, Resto Druid, Blood DK, or whatnot, whatever. And maybe over the years they might become stable. Right now, it seems like this Mythic Dungeon Invitational might be the future of like Blizzard Esports. You know, at BlizzCon, instead of seeing, you know, the PvP major tournament, which will probably still happen, they'll probably make a bigger stage for the MDI. You know, like they'll do this whole thing right here, and then like the last two teams will go to BlizzCon, and they'll be the ones that you see there up on stage, best out of 3, Mythic Dungeon Invitational Championships or something. And I think people would go fucking ballistic over it. And once again, it's mainly because World of Warcraft is a very PvE-heavy, PvP-centric game as opposed to PvP. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that, man, because I thought the Invitational was really good. Like I said, it had its bumps and bruises. The broadcasters got through it. One other thing that I really didn't like about the last weekends, which was the China and Asia Pacific stages, was that there was so much talking in between the dungeons. And that might have been because of all the disqualifications and the issues they were having. But man, I felt like in between each dungeon, there was just straight up like... there was just a lot of... it was like 20, 25 minutes of talking. Whereas today, for the EU, I think they kind of like, you know, they kind of like buckled it up a bit. And like in between matches, it was like maybe 5 minutes of talking and bam, right to the next match. And that was pretty amazing to see. Some changes I'd like to see... I kind of want the first round to be single elimination. Because right now, these tournaments are lasting about 7 to 9 hours-ish each time they do it. I think that's way too long. I'm not sure how long the PvP tournaments take, but I think 9 hours of a tournament is a long fucking time. You know, I'd like to see that cut down to about maybe like 5 hours. So I'd like to see the first round be just single elimination. You know, Blizzard picks the map, they pick the you know, the affixes or whatnot, and then, you know, after that, then it could be best out of 3, best out of 3. And yeah, that's what I think about the Mythic Dungeon Invitational. I think it's great for World of Warcraft. I think it's bringing a lot of people that, you know, casual players that, you know, that play PvE, that just maybe want to watch, you know, other people do what they already do in the game. Plus, it's a great way for, like, you know, plebs like myself and some of you plebs out there to look at the strategies that some of these teams use, like some of the shortcuts they take, you know, where they use the, you know, the sub stealth, and you know what kind of big pulls they do, the routes that they take. I think it's been a big learning experience for everybody. But you know, a lot of these teams, they're going to just start researching strategies that other teams are doing, and I mean, pretty much throughout the tournament, most teams all use kind of like the same strategy. Right now, I mean, the favorite team is this one right here that you see, which is Meow Chan's team. Meow Chan is considered one of the best paladins in the world by many, and his team just kind of cruise control through this whole entire thing. And they're probably the heavy favorite right now. We had that issue. Frank Nance's team got disqualified because one of their members, Quinji, forgot his name. He actually got, I guess, suspended from World of Warcraft, and the rules state that when your team gets suspended or banned or anything, even for like 24 hours, that your team is automatically disqualified. So Raider IL got like that first round bye here, and this is them in the finals. But yeah, your thoughts would greatly be appreciated. I want to know, where do you think Blizzard is taking their esports for World of Warcraft in the future? Will the numbers from the MDI prove positive? And will Blizzard and World of Warcraft take those numbers and be like, yeah, this has got to be our future, this is where the numbers are, this is where we got to go? Or do you think PvP will still reign supreme as the primary esport for World of Warcraft? Let me know in the comments. I know next time this MDI happens, I'm probably going to try and go for it. I know it's hard because, like, you know, prop paladins, LOL, you know, wheelchair mode is not the greatest to use, but we did try to go for it. I think the best we completed, though, was like a couple of 19s and 18 and 17. Not these guys were completing 23s, 24s, so we didn't even come close to qualifying. But yeah, let me know all your thoughts, the drama, everything, the MDI, PvP, WoW, esports. Peace out, gotta go. Talsex. I created Talsex as a name. I didn't get banned. Suck on that, Blizzard.